That's it, mate, and plenty more to come in future, I'm sure. For now, it's going to be Clubhouse between these two teams. Let's see if there's anything special that can come out, because let's not forget, this was the map where DAMWON had the run-of-the-mill with G2. Really gave them something to think about yesterday. So NIP running a bit of a risk stepping back in here, but hopefully it pays off for them.
CATsang going to be the opening ban from NIP there, taking down somewhat of an unusual ban, to be fair. I think there's maybe a little bit of a thought process there, obviously. Maybe aimed towards DAMWON Kia, or essentially aimed towards keeping CCTV a little bit safer, as CATsang is an operator that can be used against that location quite often. Thatcher will follow as our second attacker.
CATsang's always the spicy one. I talk about seeing it for like G2, who really enjoy employing that operator. Thatcher, as we know, become incredibly popular for a good number of teams. Here it's the DAMWON ban, followed up by the Mirror. CATsang is the ban coming from NIP against DAMWON. Have we seen them make use of the CATsang that much? I don't think of DAMWON Kia when I think of CATsang.
It's not the first thing that springs to mind.
You know what it is? You know what this is? Oh, remember back at SI how triggered we were at Psycho's use of the CATsang? Do you remember?
Yep.
When they had like 9 seconds to play and it was like, oh, guess what? You can plant. No, we're going to go for kills
Just
instead. The CATsang
in.
with the plant in hand, vaults through the window from garage into CC, goes charging up towards Cash, dies in the door, and like, what are you doing? Doesn't do it just once, Tim. He did it twice.
He did. It was an interesting plan of attack, trying to get in there and get the kills. They had man advantage as well. Definitely an opportunity to get the diffuser down, but chose not to. Chose to play for kills. And the thing is, it's easy for us. You know, we're sat here. I think there was a little bit of fear of potential nitros underneath and things like that that could have been played for denial. But as I recall, it didn't really work out in their favour. Now we'll see if they have a better day today. NIP starting out on the defence. They're going to be going to Church and Arsenal to begin with. CATsang just traded out by Psycho. They're going to be bringing along the Valkyrie, so there's going to be some information game getting played here from NIP.
Look towards the Valkyrie. It always makes me nervous when I see a Valkyrie, Tim. Things like an IQ can be brought along, but so many teams will tell you these days that with the IQ, it just isn't worth dropping away that 5th operator slot. Especially given the flexibility that you get in attacking lineups these days. It's almost like IQ doesn't really bring enough to the table to justify being a full pick. I can't imagine the change coming with her into the new patch. Let's not forget that she has the ability soon enough to ping through walls. She also gets a small icon on her screen that tells them what the icon is that she's currently hovering over. That's nice, but I think more something you're looking towards in ranked than strictly in pro play.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think, you know, the comms at this level, it shouldn't really be too much of a... I think, you know, the reason that we're looking at IQ and that sort of a change is she can see those gadgets but can't really impact on them directly. So without giving her some sort of option to shoot them through walls, which, you know, I don't think we're going to see, that's another way of doing it. It's saying, you know, here's a way of giving your teammates that direct information, and so it sort of just allows her to impact more directly. But when you're looking, you know, at that reasoning for pro teams, their comms should be good enough that they can say exactly where they are. They're going to have names for the default positions of gadgets. You know, they'll just be able to say, oh, it's in this position, and that's it. They'll know the angle to shoot onto it. So you're right. I don't think it'll have a drastic impact.
Or you indicate rough idea, right? Oh, it's on the west wall in gym, like southwest corner, that sort of thing for an evil eye. I remember back in the day, Meepy, when he used to play on Team Secret, God, that's a real throwback, would often say how on maps like Consulate or on Clubhouse, he would get on the IQ and be shot calling from above, essentially. You know, oh, there's gadgets here, which means they're set up in this place. They've got an operator playing loosely around here. It would be useful as a really good IGL tool. So, although it's kind of limited in use case like that nowadays, I'd say there's a lot more value in bringing, say, a Flores. Maybe we'll see it creep back up in future.
Potentially. Looking at creeping, we've got Ring creeping into bar here, making some progress. Pino directly underneath, julio, Kamikaze, Psycho, Muzi, everybody downstairs for NIP. So DWG Kia have got the run of the map early here. They need to use the time, get in, start opening the hatches, look for those vertical angles. Always interesting now, we've seen a real sort of shift towards the hatch drops and kitchen for the plants here on Church and Arsenal. It used to be all about getting down and getting the triple wall open, moving in behind the black boxes and getting the plant down there, but instead now we see that shift towards the drop, and that's why you've got Kamikaze playing in Dirt Tunnel, because he wants to be able to impact onto that should it happen.
Looking towards the potential setups here as well. One looking at Woogie, that is looking at going down inside of Dirt. Potentially we've seen the damage that can be done from that spot, both for defenders and for attackers. And one big focus on trying to get this kitchen hatch opened up. We got Psycho playing on the downstairs. C4 in hand, looking for CATsang, who does get caught up on the C4. One taken away. May have found himself a little bit safe if he stayed up on the counting top.
Certainly what I was wondering about the danger as he hopped down there and started moving around the hatch, because we'd seen Psycho playing around underneath and he took full advantage of that. And it's not always easy to hit that nitro, but Coted, he manages to find a very late trade with a headshot onto Psycho, shutting him down underneath the kitchen hatch, leaving us 4 versus 4, but 20 seconds left to go. DWG Kia don't have a choice but to try and push in here. Woogiman is looking to try and pressure onto the smoke here. Kamikaze playing inside a dirt tunnel. He's essentially in stopping a plant going down. Muzi finds ring. Coted does drop and will try to get the plant down. Protection coming in from the bottom of main stairs. It's Yass, manages to find Pino, but the plant has been denied. Time runs out, and that's going to be NIP with a successful defense of Church and Arsenal.
Very comfortable round for NIP. Nothing really looking to phase them there, I think. Knew what was going on inside the kitchen. Cozy C4 coming out. I forget who it was. Someone made a comment on Twitter earlier today that realistically, it's probably best not to commit C4s in going for those vertical kills onto the kitchen floor. Instead, save it, play back behind box 1 through box 3, and just toss C4s into the default plant spot. Of course, that changes ever so slightly if that default plant spot isn't used. You then move further west and deeper into Arsenal, for example. In that case, even if it secures you a kill, no big deal. You've walked away with exactly what you came for. A kill onto the sledge to stop more of that soft flooring being opened up. But just want to tickle your fancy, Tim. Have a think about the potential use cases of those C4s.
Well, it's the beauty of Siege, isn't it? You know, there's so many different options. There's so many variables. And something like that, in both cases, is risk and reward. You know, like you've just said, you could throw the nitro in from boxes, but they could plant elsewhere. You know, they could just plant a little bit deeper, and all of a sudden, the nitro, it's wasted anyway. But then again, throwing it onto the underneath the kitchen floor, how many kills do we see there? You know, we've seen 2 today. It's not been bad going, but it's certainly not 100% kill record. So it really does come down to risk and reward. It comes down to that choice of more which part of the round do you want to use it. You know, by trying to keep hold of it until the plant position, you could be dead by then. Psycho was.
5 seconds to insertion.
Doing bedroom more sees the frost being brought along here, as we're seeing stepping out now. I'm focusing on those windows in case there is any sudden jumps in. Maybe the sort of thing you've come to expect from DWG Kia, to be fair, Tim. Again, we know about the aggression they can bring on the attack, maybe a little bit less so. It's more reserved for the defense. I guess that being said, it was the majority of their rounds coming yesterday from the attacking half against G2 on this map. I wonder to what level as well that NIP maybe have studied back that game and gone, okay, if we know we're going to club, we can look back at exactly what they did against G2 and we can find answers to it. Or if they're just playing their default game.
We're going to see as the rounds progress, just as you say, how much information they've brought into it and how much of this is default. Now, Psycho looking for a long angle through the drone hole. Does just get a little pixel of movement in front of him, but not always the easiest to spot out or the easiest shot to take. He's just going to bide his time and wait for a better opportunity. Coted getting this wall open nice and early, inside of 50 seconds, but I'm just interested how much progress is being made towards the east side of the map and whether DWG Kia are really pushing onto that or not. I didn't think they were. There's absolutely nobody stacked up over there, and that's going to allow Muzi to push onto that CCTV window at some point, potentially.
We always talk about that kind of cash hole and what it does towards the south balcony side. Again, the Frostmat's the one to wonder out for. The multi-point push is always one that you need coming into the site. You can't afford to just come pushing in from the west side. The number of times that we've seen teams do that, they get held up inside of the hallway. Nothing tends to fall off the back of it. Kamikaze being droned out. Woogie hightailing that drone out of there as fast as he can. But they've seen now where 2 or 3 members of NIP are. So the ideas are there. C4 being tossed out towards the breach, but not completely opened up. Slowing down a little bit for DWG here as they got themselves into these key spots. It's going to be that trigger, though, of when do they make the move forward. Woogie almost being sprayed out.
Psycho just holding tight angle after tight angle there, and he's not going to find a kill with it as of yet, but he has taken a lot of damage off Woogie. Coming into the final minute, DWG Kia looking to push in towards site here without any kills, pushing into the 5 guns of NIP while they're all sat waiting is not going to be an easy thing to achieve. Kamikaze just holding down logistics hatch. Julio looking to get mobile here and provide some cover, exactly what he does. Kill onto CATsang, but Rin finds one, jumping opening through the window, shut down by Julio. It's all about him. Kamikaze finds one. Julio again, could be a third on the round. It is. Can he find a 4K? No, just going to dip away, but it's all up to Woogiman. Low health, diffuser down, very unlikely. Pino shuts it down. Triple kill from Julio on the round is really what pushes that one over for NIP.
Ace, do you know what gun I'm going to talk about again?
Go for it.
FMG on the smoke. It's spreading like a plague, mate. I'm telling you, everyone's starting to pick it up. And imagine being able to switch away from playing the FMG to then the SMG, the best secondary in the game, bar none. It's why it's being taken away from Sledge, but just being able to switch between them so rapidly as well, because it is the secondary doing absolute work with it. Julio there with the 3K in the round. Beautiful stuff. NIP, another convincing round. Down one, they did try and go for that burst through the south windows, the push in from the west at the same time, but it was a little bit mistimed. Didn't really work out the way that they would have wanted. So here they're going to say, right, enough is enough. Bring in the Monty.
It's time. It's time to see what the big shieldy boy can do. CATsang bringing along the Montagna again. It's something that is not uncommon for DAMWON Kia. They know the way around the shield, and we'll see whether NIP can deal with it or not. They're going to be heading to CCTV and cash this time around for round 3. DAMWON Kia last time, I think they come unstuck from just trying to push from one side there, to be honest with you, Des. I mean, it's... You've got... How many times do we see teams try to push onto gym and bedroom without the east breach opened up and clearing out cash? Barely any, because you've just got the situation of the flank that can come back in. You've got the player can look from CCTV window down across the line. It's just so difficult to keep the flank off you. And then they all stacked up on that hot tub wall. There were 4 trying to push in from there, and we saw what happened. Julio picked up 2 kills on there. Third one on Rin, who hopped in the window. I think they were just hoping to create a distraction. Like, if we push in hot tub now, they're not going to focus on Rin coming in and he's going to get a bunch of kills from the backside, but absolutely not. You're not going to catch NIP out so easily.
Funny as we talk about this, by the way, I've just seen that on the other stream. We've just seen a smoke rock up with an FMG and gap people down like no tomorrow. I think it was Hysterics playing on it there with a quadra kill in the round. Feels like, you know, Citizen stepping onto it, Leon Geared stepping onto it, Hysterics doing it, saw it there a second ago from Julie as well. A mix of players really picking it up between the kind of supportive or more flex-based players and those that also like to play the more aggressive entry roles. I'm really enjoying that kind of new breath of life that we've seen given to Smoke so far.
Yeah, it's always nice to see the evolution, to see a change in an operator, especially one that's been around for so long and we know exactly what to expect from them, and just seeing it sort of mixed up and used in a different way. Like you say, it's always fascinating, always interesting, brings a new angle. Now then, NIP quite well spread out here. They've got 2 in the garage, 2 on the construction side, so they're not wanting to allow anything easy. Nitro comes down from Julio, getting cheeky there. Woogiman's going to pay attention to that window now as Pino comes for a second attempt. He's not going to catch the man. I think there might have been a tickle of damage onto Woogiman there. No, not at all. I thought there might have been 2 or 3 HP chipped off, but absolutely not. 2 attempts go in and 2 attempts will fail.
Look, it's when the actual execute comes in from the smoke is the big one, not the smoke, sorry, the Monty is the big one. Kind of curious why, when they've got an ace and a thermite as well, they're still bringing the Heartbreak gadget along on him rather than, say, leaning in towards the smokes. But that's the call they've got. Got the man down on the catwalk, and the CATsang strikes in. He's on the prowl. This kitty cat gets the claws out and sinks them into Muzi. A double kill for Julio coming in. CATsang finding his second of the round with a pistol in hand. Rin, another one too. Turns out the Monty might have been the answer they were sorely seeking after Ace. 60 seconds still remaining. Pino, the last man standing.
You did have to wonder when Julio got that step out kill whether NIP were going to turn the floor in this round, but DAMWON Kia just finding the aggression at the right time. Rin steps out, better performance so far than we saw at the beginning of the day, getting a nice kill onto Pino to finish things off there, and that's going to be DAMWON Kia locking down round 3. But if that continues as is, for argument's sake, we end up with a 4-2 half for NIP, and for me, DAMWON Kia really need to not be falling behind at the half. A 3-all split. It's tough, but it should be the aim for them.
I think that's kind of the point now where NIP are going to have to figure out a good way to deal with that. Assuming, of course, that it gets brought along again. Pierce for the downstairs. That's not going to be the play for DAMWON Kia. More of a focus on the upstairs sites, at least for now. Flores making a return back in for Yass. All the right tools coming together for an assault onto the downstairs. Remember last time that it was the C4 coming out of the Valkyrie, which is not present in this round, that got the killing underway. The Sledge being the opening target just after they got the kitchen hatch open. So for DAMWON Kia in this round, I need to see a little bit more from them. Not grouping up inside a kitchen. More varied angles to push. Think back to what we saw out of... I can't remember the team it was. We saw a really good push come out of a team where it was one through Moto, one coming up oil, one was pushing down blue, one was on kitchen hatch. In fact, it was DAMWON Kia. I remember seeing it on the stream review against G2 where they had a player coming in from Moto that was coated. They had Royboy playing on kitchen hatch, one pushing their way down through dirt, one coming blue. It was a sublime attack and really, you know, diverse in the angles of threat they were bringing in that G2 simply couldn't deal with. But so far against DAMWON Kia, it's been a little bit binary. It's been a little bit of this way, a little bit of that way, and that's been about it.
Psycho looking for the spawn peak there. Not going to have any joy as DWG Kia moved around the opposite way. And you're absolutely right in what you're saying, Des. You know, and against a team like NIP, you can't play one-dimensionally. You've got to come in and catch them off guard. You've got to do unexpected things. You've got to push from multiple angles. You've got to get them moving because these are some of the best gunners in the game. If you just feed into one angle, they're just going to take the gunfights all day. They're absolutely not concerned about that. What you need to do is give them 2 or 3 different directions to watch out for.
That's exactly it, right? Draw the attention. It's a saying that I think I can't remember where I heard it. I think it was maybe from League of Legends. I can't remember. Someone or a coach said, you know, attention as a resource is a thing. If you're even drawing 25% of someone's attention or focus in their mind of, you know, you might be coming from this angle or something else is going on somewhere that I need to think about. All of those things is enough that might draw just enough attention away from the task at hand. Holding an angle, for example, that could mean you lose that subsequent gunfight that comes in. It's a good way to kind of wage psychological warfare against the enemy team just by knowing that, if, for example, a window being open, there could be someone at it. Or, oh, I've heard gunfire from this angle. I know someone's potentially coming up behind me. All those little things sort of play into the game altogether. Here, though, a minute and a half in, Woogi's just getting started on that stock catch. Coted, I think, inside of the lobby as well, inside the bar, sorry. And also being opened up, so good work being done by DAMWON. The focus is right. Now, ideally, you want to start getting your sledge in place in the hallway to start getting that opened up too.
I like what I'm seeing from DAMWON. They're not taking it for granted that the map is clear, even though NIP left it clear for them back in round 1. They're making sure to go in. Due diligence is there. Make sure that they are clear. Yass comes down from the top floor, having given it a sweep over. And so they get in without losing any lives. They've got plenty of time still. 1 minute 30 they started working upstairs. In comes the Rotero drone. They're just using that to open lines of sight. We've seen this before, used like sledge. Coted, he's going to get in and get out of there after that nitro kill last time around. They don't want to suffer to that. The soft hatch open up with only 2 X-Kairos pellets there. A second Rotero opening up vertical angles. I mean, they do have the sledge on hand, but the reason that they're doing this is they don't want to lose somebody to a nitro, Des, and instead of the sledge, this time it's going to be the Hibana.
The one they plan to have drop the hatch and go for the plant as well. Not ideal. No smokes to mass cover on their plant down, by the way, so it's going to have to be a little bit more raw than that. They're going to have to drop in, go for a couple of kills. Great nade. If that had bounced through, that potentially could have caught a couple, but no. Looking at it instead, there was an ADS just inside, so maybe it would have kept them alive in that instance. Here's Woogie at the bottom, finds yet another 2 kills coming in for DAMWON to bounce it back, but the clock waits for no one. 10 seconds on the clock, and Woogie in a bit of a panic. He's moving forwards. They drop down to look for a plant on the fort in this spot, but there is one playing inside of dirt. The challenge comes through. Where's the help from the other members of NIP? There's only Kamikaze left to help out here. Woogie finds one. Yass the last. DAMWON do win the round, and for NIP there, I feel like they let that one go, Tim.
I think there was a few mistakes on the side of NIP. I'm questioning Pino's positioning particularly. We saw him just completely exposed in corridor, trying to challenge onto the bottom of main stairs, and Woogiman stepped out and said, yes, please, I'll take that kill all day. I just felt like Pino had found himself in no man's land. There's nothing wrong with challenging onto the bottom of main stairs, especially if you know there's somebody there, but why not take any cover at all? Get yourself behind boxes, make it a peek. Don't just stand there in the open. You're asking for exactly what he got.
Trouble. It's one of those where, like, I don't want to take it away from DWG Kia. I know there are a lot of fans in the chat as well. It's not so much that they aren't playing well, but that feels more like an NIP slip-up than so much a DWG Kia strong attack. They had the right idea, but again, I'm worrying about the kind of pace of execution in some cases. They had the right angles covered. They made sure that Arsenal was clear before they went for the drop, before someone pushed down main, for example. NIP maybe letting that one go a little bit too easily. Let's see, though, how Gym and Bedroom shape up, how they position themselves on this defense. There is no Frost on side this time round, but you are seeing that Valkyrie back on side for Psycho.
if nothing else, NIP know that they are in a game here. If we look back to round 2 when NIP successfully defended gym and bedroom, the problem was that DWG Kia pushed completely from hot tub wall, basically. There was Rin jumped in through the window at the southeast screen now, but other than that, all 4 members tried to push in through that hot tub wall, and it just didn't happen. Julio shut them down, and it was just trying to push in through a small, hard breach gap. It just wasn't ever going to work. What I want to see this time, DWG Kia, get yourself out to that east side, breach in through the wall, try to clear out cash, put the pressure on. Don't let Muzi just sit around and fall back to site. Make their lives difficult, make it very uncomfortable for them. Push onto site when there's only 3 members of NIP left, rather than what we're looking at with a full 5. Give yourself the opportunity to get those kills.
Absolutely. See how it shapes up in this round. If anything can change out attacking lineup, not all that different for the side of DK, dropping away the ace in favor of bringing the Maverick here. The Habana from the previous round is gone. Kind of rotating between the 3 hard breaches, which I find really interesting because a lot of teams will tend to just stick by the same 2 across the whole map, and in some cases, especially in the APAC teams, I lean more towards the Japanese ones than the Korean ones, admittedly, but the Japanese teams, especially in APAC North, lean towards bringing all 3 hard breaches along and around. Coted, the opening kill onto Kamikaze this time round.
A good start once again for DWG Kia, coming in with a strong presence in the beginning of the round, getting themselves an opener this time. We had an opener from Woogiman back in round 3 as well, which was a round that they were able to go on and win, so they'll be looking to use that man advantage here again. They've also taken away the alibi. Kamikaze coming in. He's got a strong weapon there. Out comes the nitro. They've done well at avoiding them when they've come out onto that hot tub wall, at least. Not so much so when they were attacking onto the bottom floor, but it didn't make all the difference in the world that they were caught out. We're going to see the nades raining in, trying to catch Pino out. He's just keeping himself close to the wall for the time being. It bounces off. The damage goes into the shower and not into the man. Psycho finds the kill onto Rin, but they do manage to shut down Pino. Psycho's getting super aggressive here. Desi's going to go for it. He takes the peek. He misses his shots, but he does a lot of damage. And if nothing else, it's going to slow DWG Kia down. They're not going to be too keen to aggress onto that until they know that Psycho is clear.
A bit of a kicker there, I think, on Psycho's side, knowing that he's basically put a whole mag out towards Woogie, but the dancing shoes were on. Woogie refusing to be tagged out by that one for too long. 3 versus 4 then for NIP. Got a hold on here against the onslaught coming in for DWG, who are doing a better job here of having multiple angles set up. Good grenade coming in onto Julio, who's now down to about 40 HP. But no more frags remaining. Now it's going to come down to a straight-up gunfight. It's about the aggression and the push-in coming from DWG Kia.
Muzi not wanting to shoot the drone out, and it was a good decision. It kept him quiet, kept his position. Unknown Psycho manages to trade out Coted, who found the kill onto Julio. CATsang has no opportunity to get in here, and he does so. He's going to get the kill onto Psycho, who gets caught out on the cams very late in the round. This player's dead. Why is he on the cams? Yass, he's going to get in there, start getting the diffuser down. It's all down to Muzi, but shut down by CATsang. Big play, big round from him, coming back into the roster for this game. And DWG, they take another round, 3-2, and find themselves in the lead now. DWG Kia going extremely well.
A couple of rounds, but they just walked in and found their gunfights later into the round without any, at least what felt like a significant tactical advantage. That round, a lot better, I'll give it to them. Pressure on the south window, the nades coming in, but it did come into, I guess our Thermite's just going to run a bathroom and try and secure this kill. Bit of a scrap and a kerfuffle coming up on main stairs as well. Little back and forth here and there that ultimately DWG Kia came out on top in. Psycho might well be ruining the fact that he didn't manage to find that kill onto Woogie when he swung himself out onto the west breach at the same time. DK looking to close the half out strong here, bringing along that Monty once again.
I'm surprised that Psycho was on the cams with 15 seconds left to go, Des. There was members of NIP that were... I know there's a lot going on all at once, and it may well be that there were too many cameras to cover. That, you know, there may be a reason for it. Sometimes it's easier and quicker to just see the view yourself and see what's going on, and then you can react to it. But Psycho leaving himself completely defenseless there, and when he's covering the master bedroom window, that is a problem. I mean, maybe he just thought nobody was going to push from there, so there was the opportunity for him to take a quick look at the cams, but I'm sure it's something that they're going to learn from.
Yeah, hoping so. That's the point, isn't it? The evolution throughout the game, just figure out what's going on and adapt to suit This is this last round of the half.
Objective is to locate a
That one to be
bomb.
down 3-2 is going to be a surprise for those that might just be tuning in late to see what's going on over here on the B stream. Because don't forget, this is essentially a preview of the next game. In fact, it is essentially a direct preview because these two teams will move over to the A stream, will play on the big stage. So here on the B stream, once it's done, they'll move over there. That's where the final game of the day will be played out.
And the thing is, Des, imagine that game if DAMWON Kia have picked up the win here. That's going to be absolutely massive because NIP are looking for points. They've only got 2 so far. They've taken a loss and they've had an overtime win. But they are sat bottom. Granted, they've 2 games to play. But if they come away from 2 games with 1 point, 2 points, that's not going to be enough. That's not even going to get them up into second because let's not forget, it's DAMWON Kia who will be picking up the remainder of the points. So that's going to keep them ahead of them. Big problem potentially for NIP. DAMWON Kia have got themselves ahead on the attack. They're looking to finish that off now. They've got a final attack onto Church and Arsenal, which is a site that they managed to win back in round 4. It's 3 rounds in a row for DAMWON Kia now.
Drop the bomb diffuser.
And they're going extremely well. This is time for NIP to do something about this. Last time there was a few silly challenges from NIP. Pino stepping right out into that corridor and leaving himself exposed was a little bit of a catalyst within the round. So I want to see NIP just play this a little smarter. There we go. Nice and smart from Muzi as he gets that opener. He's going to get himself a second, and he certainly does.
Rin.
Shutting down Rin, just absolutely spraying him down with a headshot. And this is better from NIP.
I'm not sure what Rin's plan was there or what on earth he was aiming to get done, but that definitely wasn't the... Wait, what? Really? How? That was miles in front of the shield. I don't know if he dropped the shield down or something like that, but that's one of the ones you look at and think, surely CATsang backing away, should have been able to walk away alive. Another kill coming out for Julio, and to be honest with you, this round looking pretty convincing, Tim. Not a single death coming through yet. Maybe 1 or 2 fights that you look at and go, DAMWON really should have walked away with a kill in that situation. Not quite to be the case. Coted, the last man left alive. He's not long for this world. 2 come up main in case the trade needed, but Muzi collects the kill. A flawless round to round out the half.
I mean, you can be forgiven for, you know, losing the opening kill to Muzi. He's an absolute demon in the gunfights. We know that. But taking that second peek, you called it at the time, you got to ask the decision. You know, you got to question that decision there. He's at the top of blue stairs. The likelihood is that he's going to rotate himself back downstairs. You can hold an angle on the garage door. You know he's not come out of there. He's more than likely going to go down and try and hold on to blue corridor. What you don't want to do is feed a player like Muzi, because given the opportunity, he's going to just take kill after kill after kill. He's got a 3k in the round there. He's closed it out for NIP, who come out. I think they're going to be maybe breathing a little bit of a sigh of relief there, coming out 3-3. It looked like it could be 4-2 to DAMWON Kia, but if you remember at the beginning of the game, I said that 3-0 at the half would be good for DAMWON Kia. They can now get themselves onto the defense, try to lock this down, and if they can come away with a 4-2 half, if they can hold down a primary and a secondary site defensively here, they're going to take the points.
It make me a little bit nervous to think that, you know, 3 rounds on the attack have gone to DAMWON Kia. Let's not forget they were taking 4 or 5 rounds against G2 on the attack. G2 also did the same. It was 4-2 at the end of the first half, with G2 being the ones walking away at the 4-2 scoreline. So for NIP, I'm really hoping their attacks on Clubhouse are pretty fire, Tim, because they're going to need it.
They are going to need it. And this is, you know, I keep saying, don't sleep on DAMWON Kia. This team has got upsets in them. And this could be another one. There's a long way to go yet. 6 rounds potentially of regulation time, depending how they progress. But the first couple of defenses here for DAMWON Kia are going to be particularly telling. It's going to be interesting. If they can get this lockdown, Church and Arsenal, they've got the roam, they've got Rin on the vigil, they've got the hatches soft, so there's the potential to move quickly back to site. I don't know how much of a commitment they've made up to the top floor. They've got the Muzi and the mute, so they've got the operators for it, and that's exactly where they are. Yass and coted on the top floor. So NIP are going to have to commit to a full map clearance.
Yeah, we spoke about this a lot earlier on today, didn't we? The SSG roam, and gave a bit of a run through their idea being you hold the top floor, there's some reinforcement on the ground floor. No castle being along, so only the 3 pieces of Exodia being summoned into this game, Tim. Instead, opting towards having the Valkyrie on side plus the Melusi, I imagine more for the prevention of a rush. And wouldn't be surprised if CATsang, as you see him flicking through those black eye cameras right now, is using them to get some kind of gauge on where NIP are in case there's a rush down through dirt, a rush down through stock into blue, for example. We have seen some teams making good use of the fact that if caught off guard, this does essentially crumble and it forces a retake strategy to have to be employed by the defending team. But I like it. They're being prepared and making sure they've got the answer.
Yass just opening up the vertical angle into kitchen there, looking to maybe prevent a little bit of access into site. We've talked about that drop and how it's usually used now to get the plant down rather than moving down to breach the triple wall. So by getting above it there, there's the potential for clearing out gadgets that are being used to open it, such as the Kairos pellets that Pino is likely to get in there and try to use. Now then, there's going to be a drone stolen there by Yass. We saw him fire the pest under the hatch. One has been dropped down as Julio was approaching, trying to drop into logistics. Woogiman's going to take some damage from somewhere. I'm going to guess that's inside a dirt tunnel because it looks like Kamikaze is playing over in that direction with Pino. So they've managed to take Woogiman down, and there's a decision for DWG here to make here, Des. Is this time to fall back to site?
Bomb located by attacker.
I think at this point, when you've burnt through 2 minutes and you've kept most of your players alive, got a kill, yep, good time to head away. Muzi has been finished off, so even more reason here to be playing it more passively. Pino looking to push his way through dirt, finds a wonderful shot onto CATsang, who steps out for a swing. And now that's going to be the sign they need. You hear the sound of those Banshees going off base. That's your go-to point. A challenge. Julio managing to shut down Rin upstairs. A 3 versus 2. NIP with the numbers advantage, but can they clear off the last man or two? You got Muzi playing on the downstairs, the nade coming through. Bit of a run away for both sides as they run away from the exploding time bomb on the ground. Kamikaze finding one. Yass in a 1 versus 3. Plant going down. A pretty much sure ace. There should be no way back into this round for him, but we've seen the kind of clutches that Yass can pull off. But against the world champions, not too sure about that one.
Takes a beautiful shot onto Julio to start things off, though. 1v2. He's got about 30 seconds to find these second 2 kills. He knows there's a man playing boxers. Finds the kill. 1v1. Yass is low health, don't forget. This all comes down to Kamikaze. He's the support man, but he finds the head. Yass just exposing himself above the rotation there. Kamikaze closes it down. NIP, they are going to be breathing a sigh of relief. That's going to be a wiping of sweat off the forehead there, because it was close to being a little bit of a throw in that 1v3 with Yass fighting back against them.
It's one of them that I look at and just think, how many times have we seen Yass clutch out a 1vx in APAC North? It's a bit ludicrous. Always refer back to that one game on Clubhouse, interestingly, between T1 and DWG Kia. Yass versus 11, arguably the 2 greatest gunners to grace the APAC North scene at the moment. And it was clutch central between the 2 teams. Constantly an argument of who can clutch harder out of Yass and 11. So you can't count him out even when he is the last man left alive. However, NIP taking that first attacking round win is a good sign if you're a LATAM fan. Less of one if you're an APAC North fan or an APAC in general fan, I guess. Or even just a fan of the underdogs, like Brits so can often be. CC and Cash going to be where we head to for round number 8. No funky little strat coming out in the defense here. Still seeing the Valkyrie being brought along.
It just shows how important that information is. I mean, Valkyrie's ban rate has been absolutely massive through almost everywhere in the world, and it's continued here at the Major as well. Such a common ban, but making it through, and you can see as soon as Valkyrie makes it through, she gets picked up and the cams get deployed. DWG Kia, they're going to need all the information they can get. It was a close round last time around. Yass bringing it back to a 1v1, but you got to remember that was from a 3v1 for NIP. They managed to get themselves established in sight, get the diffuser down. It was only down to the magic that Yass tried to create in the server. Look at CATsang getting aggressive on that garage door again. He's going to dip himself away back into lounge. He's not wanting to just make anything easy for NIP here. Rin right up on that window. Is there going to be a jump out attempt? It doesn't look primed. I can't see low enough to know, but I don't think that barricade has been primed for the jump out. No.
I think it was hoping for someone else is going to punch it, and he's just there to like blow it out as soon as someone steps up to it. But so far, it has been ignored. It's so cheeky because I was worried that someone's going to run past the window and just like fire a couple of bullets in there. And that's your head that's in the way, and you find yourself going down. Maybe standing here because it's more about the listening game as well, just trying to get a feel for what's going on outside.
Julio just getting to work with the Maverick on that hard reinforcement. We can see the wall is now soft. Will start to be opened up. Muzi's on hand, but shots are being taken through. Yass is actually going to be downed inside of there. I think it's on the garage catwalk. Manages to crawl to safety, but very unlikely that he's going to be picked up. Muzi doing everything he can to try and confirm the kill there. He gets the explosive grenade in, and it's going to be Julio ultimately with the actual frag grenade that manages to find that kill, opening things up onto Yass and giving NIP the advantage.
This is cheeky as well as it's being opened up behind him. He's really gone for a sprint in, praying that no one was on the breach. The big question is, do these guys know that he's pushed his way in? Finds a kill at the long angle onto Muzi, which is nice. No one else now out on the breach means that someone's going to have to rotate over there for NIP. And yes, they lost Yass, but Rin, playing a bit of a risky game, still manages to make it all the way through garage to get up on this catwalk. That now means that we're going to have to see NIP clear it all over again.
Rin needs to be very careful here. I'm not sure if he's aware that Psycho's playing underneath, and one false step here, one mistake is going to leave him exposed, but look at how he survives. Psycho gets flashed out by his own team and can't hit the shot, so Rin lives to fight another day. That is a serious piece of luck for DWG Kia, as they managed to get a couple of kills as well onto Pino and Muzi, and that leaves us now in a 4 versus 3 in favour of DWG Kia.
35 seconds to play with as well. Isn't a ton of time. Look how much time Rin has wasted up here as well. Oh my god, the step up and finds one. Does finally get traded back out, but Rin there has done so much work. 60 seconds wasted for DWG to now be in a 3 versus 2. Psycho still being tagged out by the Legion Mind. Doesn't want to take it out of his foot just yet. Of course, no sprint functionality built in here when you got that there, but it doesn't stop you hitting headshots, Ace. Woogiman goes down, a 2 versus 2. Can they bring this all the way over the finish line? One push coming in, down by the smoke. Coted collecting the kill. Psycho's got to do something, but CATsang collects the closer. 4-4 between these two teams.
Tycho never really having an opportunity to do anything in that 1v2 at the end because of the low health from the goo mine ticking damage away constantly against him. It just left him with one breath, one inhale of that toxic canister, putting him down in the dirt and closing out the round for DWG Kia. Now, Rin, let's talk about Rin. There was a lot of luck for Rin up on that garage catwalk, but sometimes you've just got to roll with that and you've got to do everything you can, and Rin burnt an awful lot of time after that point, took full advantage of it. Psycho going for that kill, and I think he gets that. He was snapping towards the head, bang, there's the full white flash and he can't hit the shots. It's their minimal damage, and somehow Rin manages to survive and burn another minute, and that was a big part of that round.
Alrighty, moving forwards, it's going to be NIP bringing along the old faithful Monty as well, showing that it's not just APAT teams that can make good use of it. I mean, you probably have a better idea of this thing because you keep more of an eye on LATAM. Does Psycho play the Monty a lot lately, or is it more something that is kind of part for now in the shape of the new meta?
It's difficult to say through stage 2, but as you say, the LATAM teams aren't scared of shields. NIP aren't really a team that necessarily bring it an awful lot. We've seen Julio use shields quite a lot. He's generally the one that I've seen previously bringing the shields along. If I think about a shield team in LATAM, I think of Liquid before I think of NIP, to be honest. Sexy Cake will bring Clash, bring Monte. Yeah, Sexy Cake's a brilliant shield player. Clash, Monte, either or, doesn't matter. And I would say I've definitely seen them play it more than NIP.
I know that back in the old days, Psycho was kind of the shield player. It's like you had the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse around the world. I think it was Mint in NA, we had Pengu in EU, Psycho over in NIP, and Lunar Metal across in APAC. They were kind of the 4 known shield players around the world. So it's not like Psycho's a stranger to it.
Oh, Psycho's definitely, like I say, it could well have been playing him through stage 2. I do keep on top of the games, but as with everything, don't have time to watch every single one of them. But yeah, no, like I say, it tends to come down to Julio or Psycho. Now then, Muzi comes in and finds a kill onto Rin. He's not going to survive or have any luck inside a garage this time, and that is a big start for NIP.
For all intents and purposes, a pre-fire coming out there, although it did turn into more of a when I see him, I'll shoot. He had a drone in lounge, which you saw just behind Rin, which he seemingly wasn't aware of, and it was a super freebie coming in for Muzi. If he'd lost the gunfight, I'd be more shocked than anything. Either way, entry kill onto Rin, who now sat at 6 and 8, has gone down in almost every single round so far. Not having a bad game by any means, but being picked off that early in the round does remove a lot of threats from the DWG Kia side. And someone pointed this out to me earlier on, which is really quite interesting. When you look at Cyclops, they're a team that will put every single man out on their own together. They'll commit to a really aggressive hold out towards the external sides of a building. On the side of DWG Kia, really, you're looking at Rin, you're looking at Yass. They're the two players that are your big, aggressive, like, fraggers, and they tend to roam in isolation. It's not like you ever really see them roaming together. So, although APAC people look at and go, yeah, it's an aggressive region, you are right, but one team roams as a larger group, one roams, in isolation.
Yass just tried to make a smart play into the oil pit there, but was picked up on a drone by Kamikaze, and we just saw all the guns of NIP focusing on the top of those stairs. Unfortunately for Yass, he chooses to dip himself back away into blue corridor, but NIP need to be very aware that he's still out in the map and needs to be dealt with. CATsang just having a quick check of the balcony area there, knowing that there is nobody available to challenge on the windows, but just after that check, Kamikaze drops down. Julio finds the kill onto CATsang with a nade. Yass trades that out, and that is the rotation coming back around, and they haven't kept a hold of where that alibi is playing.
Like I said, Yass playing off by himself, the solo roamer at this point, and with Rin already falling down prior. CATsang finding himself out too, and in comes the step forward from Woogie, who is rocking the pistol and the shotgun here. Not necessarily the best at long range, and Kamikaze proving that. 3 versus 1 left for Woogie here. Kamikaze going in for the plant. Woogie just yapping like a terrier from inside a construction with that shotgun that barks its way through. But Ace, what did we say earlier? As your numbers dwindle, the monster becomes all the more terrifying, and that is Shiko in this situation. He's going for a pistol kill. Back out to full side. The guard breaks in, and Psycho's having none of it. Smacks him in the face with the shield and wins the round for NIP.
NIP taking the lead once again, but the takeaway message already here, regardless of what the outcome is that DWG Kia are competitive here. They are competitive against NIP. They're keeping in touch with them. They're not letting them get on top of things. They're not letting them get too far out in front, and there's a message to be taken away. And, you know, I think the message has been heard loud and clear by the world, and that is that APAC are here and ready to play, and that they are really forcing themselves into these top tier matchups and being competitive. And DWG Kia just showing that time and time again. And what a great match we've got on our hands. We're heading into round 10. It's 5-4 to NIP at the minute. We're going to see a defense of gym and bedroom once again. That's where we've just been last time around. NIP able to close it down pretty convincingly. So DWG Kia, they really need to bring something different here. They do have the Frost for Woogiman. I don't know if that's maybe aimed towards dealing with the Monty. Traps is always a good way to deal with a shield potentially. But he's not going to be here this time.
It needs to be Stritley.
We've got a different disruptor.
Yeah, it's Psycho's playing that role that you see Hungry playing on G2 that I always talk about, that kind of gun augment role where he changes the total shape of the team, brings something new, whether it's a Monty, a Ying, Capitao, a Lion, keep on going through that list, sometimes like a Flores being brought along as well. Although it kind of plays behind one operator as being its central pillar, it's still a very different style of attack because for NIP, rather than a slow creep forward behind a Monty, a Ying tends to be a little bit more, no pun intended, flashy. The smokes come out, the candelas rain in, the enemy team is rattled, you and your buddies jump inside, goon a bunch of them, take some scouts, and that normally is how the round can be won. Or if nothing else, you can make good use of those candelas to force control of a certain area of the map. That's what I'm looking out for here. We'll keep an eye on Psycho and where those candelas go down. We've seen a little bit of questionable use out of teams like TSM on that to clear. For example, when attacking into dining on the downstairs, they were using the candelas upstairs to force control of an empty room. Didn't always make sense, but there are varied use cases for the Ying.
No pun intended, Des, and then you come out with the word flashy for Ying. You drop the biggest pun that we're going to have on the Bravo stream for 3 days.
You know who our host is, right?
And that's saying something. That is saying so. Honestly, you should have just absolutely owned that one, Des. It was beautiful. Should have
just pushed straight into it, mate. Next time, I'll take heed. This is a quick update on the other stream, by the way. TSM versus Invictus. Invictus are looking to go 6-4 against TSM if the Charla can't cut you out. Hello. Whoa, I mean, that's aggression. Didn't quite expect that to go down on our stream so soon. DWG have won the round inside what looks to be 1 minute and 20. Pino's in a 1 versus 2. Diffuser, cold on the ground. We thought we were going to see a pretty rapid attack, but not to that level. Shot through the drone hole at long range. Beautiful stuff coming out from DWG, and that's a very fast way to balance things back up.
We are guaranteed our 12 rounds here after whatever just happened in round number 10. It was just an absolute flurry of kills coming out of DAMWON Kia, and they have shown, again, the ability to keep doing that. They find themselves in these positions and they punish NIP. They are definitely there and ready to fight when NIP make those slip-ups. They are waiting, jaw spread, ready to take a chunk out of them.
I've just watched it back on the stream. Rin, as the breach was being opened up, ran down main stairs, not onto the first flight, the second flight. Kamikaze put a drone halfway down the stairs and then turned it around and drove it back up. So Rin wasn't seen, wasn't heard. They drop through logistics, they push in through hallway and get absolutely slapped by Rin from main stairs. Didn't really see that without that prep about 20 seconds prior. But my God, that is absolute chaos. Really smart play by Rin. And not so much solo won the round there because there was work for other members. Woogiman stepped up playing inside of Secret in logistics. But those two players just completely broke apart that attack from NIP.
What I love to see here for DAMWON Kia is that, you know, they're sort of winning this, not through adversity as such, but look at the kills down the side of NIP. They're certainly not slacking, Des. You've got 12 for Julio. You've got 20 between Julio and Psycho. You know, you look down the side of DAMWON, the kills are very even across the team, but they are finding rounds. Despite these high kill numbers coming in from NIP, they are fighting with them tooth and nail, and they are challenging. They keep getting the kills, keep getting the trades, keep the man count as even as they can, and it's certainly doing well for them at the minute. CATsang getting out on the Valkyrie, Cam's out into garage, so they're expecting potentially a little bit of attention coming through there, or they at least need to be aware of the oil pit drop for any pressure coming onto blue. NIP on the attack, going to be just looking to clear out the entire map here, but it looks like DAMWON Kia are going to be largely downstairs on site, completely downstairs on site.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the lineup, right? There's no Mute, there's no Muzi, there's no Vigil. Maybe you can see towards a Legion and a Jaeger going off on the roam, and I fully expect you will see that, given the two players that are playing those operators, Rin and Yass, those independent roamers that we spoke about. CAG, the kind of team to commit to a full-style team roam, whereas on the side of DAMWON Kia, it's much more about the individualistic players.
Bar control is in the hands of NIP, as should be the rest of the map. They need to be careful with CATsang playing underneath Kitchen. He's just moved away for the time being, but it was something that NIP were certainly the benefactors of when they were on the defense, able to pick up those Nitro kills. This time it's going to be Yass actually moving under there. I think he's just got some impact nades in pocket, which could help to keep the kitchen hatch closed. To start with, we're going to have the motor hatch opened up in bar. That's going to allow the potential for aggression to come in through there, but honestly, I can't remember the last time I saw an attacker moving through motor. It is all about main stairs and kitchen, but we're seeing a push towards that triple wall this time.
Good impact nade coming out, but it doesn't catch absolutely everything. Another round coming in. Yass has got another one in back pocket. In fact, they've got 3 to play with here, and that is a lot of X-Kairos being committed. Another one comes through. There's only one left. It's not really worth it. So a couple of cheeky holes being opened up, but Pino committed a lot of X-Kairos all at once there. He's now completely out. That wall is going to start looking like Swiss cheese. It's not going to be fully open. It might look a bit stinky, but there's no way they're going to find themselves able to fit through it.
And the thing is, kitchen hatch is still closed. There's no access through triple wall. Julio is down in motor getting shot up, and he's got the blowtorch in pocket, so he's not going to be opening kitchen hatch. So they're pretty much announcing the push to DAMWON Kia here. It's just whether NIP can outgun them. Muzi drops into oil pit and manages to find one onto Rin to start things off. Julio's going to have to be a driving factor from motor here because their only option is to push into church.
Oh, that one hole. That could be the difference maker, and oh my God, it is. You know why they call it church wall, Tim? It's because it's holy, and those holes being put to good use. Look at the swing in from Pino. Finds one onto Yass at 3 versus 2. Let's not forget the scoreline is at a 5 and 5. This is a very decisive round. What a time for Pino to find a 4K and get NIP the round.
Guaranteed overtime for NIP as a minimum, and an opportunity to close this one out and take all 3 points. It's going to take another successful attack from them here, though, and we will see where DAMWON Kia are going to take us. Will they choose to go down to church again? Initially, the pick is showing CCTV, but there is time for that to change. We're going to have a pause as we take the tactical timeout for DAMWON Kia, and that is not too much of a surprise at this point. It's now or never, Des.
I mean, it's a good time to have those 60 seconds to have a conversation. You get 60 seconds in which your coach can have a conversation with you, decide what they're going to be doing in round number 12, because this is your last chance. I mean, they go into another game immediately after. I can't imagine it comes back onto Clubhouse, or they feel, okay, you know what, if it ends 7-5, it's not the end of the world. Fine. But let's see how things change. I can't imagine anything super creative comes out, because there's not really much innovation you can bring at this point, unless there's some real crazy pocket strat you've got. It's a crucial round to have on side of thing, get to that stage, but let's see exactly what comes back once we get back into it.
Very serious faces there, and discussion obviously going on about how they keep themselves in this. The thing is, DWG Kia right now know that they've got a very real opportunity. That's the thing. If they can take this to overtime, get any points off NIP, it is big in terms of the group standings, because they're ahead of NIP. That's what you've got to remember. In terms of points at the minute, they are ahead of them. So, you know, they're in a position whereby they can potentially stay ahead of NIP coming into that second matchup that will be played over on the A stream after the conclusion of this one. So it's also about that mental game as well. Push them, maybe take the win off them. Maybe that second matchup goes a little bit differently. You've got them beat up at that point. You can start applying more pressure.
I think the site we're stepping into, by the way, is going to be a repeat of the downstairs. On the attacking side, triple hard breach coming out for NIP with the Twitch and the Zofia. On the defensive side, same old for Rin and Yass, or it was for just a second, was going to be the Legion and the Jaeger, but I think Yass has just changed over. Maybe it's looking towards the Alibi, along with the Maestro, the Valkyrie, and the Smoke, things that we've seen enough throughout this half so far.
It's all about...
This is no longer just a tactical timeout, by the way. It's more technical now.
Yeah, I think there's an issue that's just being addressed at the same time here. But yeah, I think, you know, looking at what happened last time around, NIP shouldn't really been winning that round, as you know, ultimately they didn't get the triple wall open, they didn't open the kitchen hatch, they didn't really have any ingress onto site other than single doors. They just managed to use those to the best of their ability to find the kills, and they can't be allowed to get away with that realistically. The difference here is going to be, I don't see NIP making those same mistakes again. I can't see them being in a position where they don't have kitchen hatch and they don't have triple wall open and they push in a single door. I can't see that being the case. So if anything, I expect the difficulty factor of holding on to this to be even greater for DWG Kia.
Worth noting as well, why there was such a long timeout there was immediately after DWG Kia's tactical timeout, NIP called theirs. Both teams having them back-to-back, may as well shoot them all in this one round, and I'm thinking potentially that's part of the big brain play that might be coming in, because Psycho here stepping across onto the Monty, the 6th pick coming in for Yass away from the Legion and moving over to playing on the Wamai. Kind of limited on options here, Tim, to deal with that Monty is what I'm fearful of, but part of me also really wants to see Woogie and Yass just yeet a bunch of those impact nades at the Monty and hope it does the job.
I mean, it might do the job. It's not the easiest gadget in the world to be doing damage with. Particularly important, there's two important factors here when we look at Psycho on the Monty. First of all, where is he playing? Where is he going? Where is that push going to come from? The second then is how quickly DWG Kia recognise that, and how do they deal with coted? Now, Rin going straight out of the window there, looking for a big start, doesn't get it. How do they deal with coted's positioning? Because coted is the main counter that they have got to that Monty. Those smoke canisters will terrify Psycho and force him back. He's not going to want to go into them because it's going to do him astronomical amounts of damage. So coted at the minute inside a dirt tunnel. If Psycho pushes there, fantastic. If he doesn't, they need to recognise that, and DWG Kia need to reposition coted to allow him to challenge onto that shield, because otherwise, as you say, Psycho's just going to be able to bully them. The best they're going to have is impact nades. He'll just keep dipping away, he'll keep that distance between them, and he'll make it difficult for them to do any meaningful damage to him.
So a quick update for you on the game on the other stream as well. IG have just beaten TSM. I'm pretty sure that basically locks TSM into going home, because Invictus move on to 7 points. TSM on 0 with 2 wins will get to 6. They can't catch up, and that's that done and dusted. So that means Invictus sit on 7 points, Team Empire on 5. That's just telling you how close that group is getting as well. We're starting to get that picture now of who the two teams are in each group, starting to go for a bit of a scrap. In this game, the scrap is well underway. Wumai taken out early on. It's painful to lose it early, of course, because don't forget those discs do charge as the round progresses by. And Yass, not a player you want to be losing this early on.
And 2 of those impact nades that we discussed that could be a potential counter to Psycho on the Monty. We've seen Coted move across into Church, but he's actually gone back out to Dirt Tunnel. Not sure if he is just tracing this Monty's progress. They knew that he was on main stairs, so he moves down into Church. They know that he's then moved out of there and is likely to push Dirt Tunnel, so back Coted goes. He needs to hold on for as long as possible. 58 seconds. This is late to be pushing the Monty into Dirt Tunnel because, of course, those Toxic Babe canisters can burn about 30 seconds. So the longer this takes, the more that Coted is going to be able to hold the Monty off for the entirety of the round. They need to find a kill onto this smoke. What's going on?
Here he comes down. Hello. Hello. Coated?
I mean, you gotta hear the Monty coming, but Psycho gives his life away. That's a little bit unnecessary. 30 seconds left to go, and that's a big play from CATsang. 2 mistakes coming in there, and CATsang doubles down, finds 2, Kamikaze and Julio, and all of a sudden, this is DAMWON Kia's round. CATsang could have an ace here. 15 seconds left to go. He's got the 4K. Muzi is up above. He's gonna take the hatch drop. He finds the kill onto CATsang. Surely he can't close this out in 8 seconds. He gets one. It's 1v1. He can go for the diffuser, but he doesn't have time. He knows he needs to find the kill. Woogiman doing everything he needs to keep himself alive and then find that final kill. We are going to overtime.
Tell you what, mate, we have been blessed by overtimes today. Jackie in both the games he stepped in to cast all 15 rounds. Me and you here, overtime, 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 all the way through.
It just shows how close this major is.
That's the scariest part, right? We came into this saying, realistically, DWG Kia, probably not really in with a chance, but we did say, you know, if they could get 1 point in an OT loss, you'd be pretty happy with that one, I think. At this point, when you're at the 6-6, why not just take the whole thing? Just go all the way through. Try and walk away with the lion's share of points. They've got 2 points here. Again, that makes this group all the more spicy. Because as it stands right now, let's not forget, NIP were 4 games behind others in their... Sorry, 2 games behind others in their group. If they walk away on like an OT loss in this one, suddenly that chase towards G2 or towards Dark Zero ain't so clear-cut.
I just don't know what happened down in that dirt tunnel, Des. I just don't know what happened down in that dirt tunnel. Psycho moves in, gets an absolute freebie onto Coted. Coted somehow doesn't hear the shield coming down behind him, which is one of the loudest operators in the game. He gets an absolutely free pistol one-tap onto the head. But then it just feels like Psycho gets a little bit too aggressive. There's still 30 seconds in the round. We often see executes onto Church and Arsenal with 15 seconds left. You know, there's not a rush at that point in time. But he sees the opportunity, he goes for it, but he loses that fight to CATsang, and then it just all falls apart because the aggression starts to push from Kamikaze and Julio, but without the Monty to take the focus, CATsang manages to find himself 2 more, and it's a huge play from the man who has just subbed back in.
I had a bit of headset trouble there, mate. So if you did say something really valuable at the end,
it was super interesting. Super interesting.
Oh, mate, it has to be. Like, everything you say is just magic, mate.
You have to watch it back.
Everything you say. Yeah, I'll have to check it out later, mate. See how it plays out. All right, then. Here we go. Carly being brought along by Psycho. Look, I mentioned he was the augment player, the one who brings along the interesting, spicy picks. Carly, I can't quite say was on my list of things to be picking up here, but if he can make it work, fair play to him. All the more power on his side. Outside of that, it is that triple hard breach again. So although I mentioned it's mainly the Japanese APAC North teams we see doing this kind of thing, NIP clearly really taking a liking to it as well.
Callie being brought along there as the Thatcher alternative, just able to use that gadget to clear out any electronics which are placed close to the wall, and that was sufficient to allow Kamikaze to get the hot tub wall open. Attacking onto gym and bedroom, of course. Julio and Muzi pushing in together. They force Rin back with a little bit of damage as well to boot. So, NIP, they've got good control here, Des. They've got Pino joining on that side as well. That is now 3 operators sweeping through. They've forced DWG Kia back onto site, and there is still 1 minute 40 left to go.
Slow and steady start. No real big panic on NIP's side, I'd imagine. Constantly, by the way, Psycho's been playing on this long angle. I think from spawn he had the one shot going across the top of the roof to try and get rid of the hatch. Had it to blow out a couple of the windows, just looking to play the more supportive role, at least initially. Will be a value if any of these walls are mute jammed off. Already got the west side open, mind you, so not really too much of a focus for them immediately. See how things step forward from here.
NIP could do with finding themselves an opener here, get themselves a kill, and then start thinking about getting in for a potential plant. Yass playing underneath. And Julio is aware of that. The drone is going in. If he picks him up, you can just see. I think Yass knows that he's... Does he know that he's been spotted out? He's moved himself into bathroom. Julio's just waiting for the rotation. Muzi finds one onto CATsang meanwhile on site. And that could signal Yass needing to move back. But as he does, Julio could pick him up. Woogiman just waiting with the Ella shotgun on the tight angle. 35 seconds and there's going to be a flurry of activity very, very soon.
One going down to big one. Obrin finds the C4 comes out. 2 big kills for DAMWON. Pino on the south balcony is assumed position to be able to threaten inside. Kamikaze finds one. That south support would have been quite helpful for that purpose. Pino, in come the flashes. White screening up wherever he can. A grenade comes through, but coted. He's still digging deep. Yass finds yet another. Down one. Kia may have just found themselves enough to walk away with the round win. Woogie finds another. They're going to do it, Tim. They get to round 13 with a win. 7-6. One more round. They bring down the current world champions. What an outcome that would be, because we thought this game and the next would be really clear-cut in NIP's favour.
I did. I thought that NIP would win them, but as I keep saying, I don't want to keep coming back to it, but DAMWON Kia have shown such great performances so far. They're coming in here and they are hanging with the best in the world, and they are beating them at this point in time. They've got a match point opportunity now, and this is big, because coming into this, let's have a look how it stood. DAMWON Kia had 3 points. NIP had 2 points. So that would then mean DAMWON Kia have 5 points, move into second place. NIP only have 3 points, and so stay bottom of the table. So that puts even more weight on the next matchup that's going to be played out on the A stream after the conclusion of this one. DAMWON Kia have got a massive opportunity here.
Tomorrow becomes so spicy then, because both DAMWON and NIP play against G2 tomorrow. And then DAMWON and NIP both play against Dark Zero after that. So there's a lot to look forward to tomorrow in this group as well. Constantly back and forth entertainment. And I know that when we were looking at the group 3 or the day 3 games at the start of day 1, we were like, oh, you know, day 1's the main day for the big games. I think now tomorrow on the B stream, things really start to spice up.
It's certainly looking that way, because we're going to have a lot of these decisive matches. Ico manages to just take out a drone at the drone hole there. Left half of the wall unreinforced. I'm not sure about the purpose of that one. If you're going to leave half of it, you might as well leave all of it unreinforced, unless they're just trying to block off a line of sight. Just trying to block off maybe a little bit of a line of sight through to logistics or something. We'll see. But they come into this. It's all down to DAMWON Kia to take the initiative here. They need to go in, get kills. They need to clear out that top floor roam, and they need to find themselves an advantage before pushing onto site. Pushing into 5 defenders on Church and Arsenal ain't going to be easy. But as we've seen so far, Des, NIP have been playing largely down on site for Church and Arsenal, but this time they've spread themselves all over the map.
Question is, how much of a mistake or benefit does that prove to be? Apparently a fantastic one, because 2 opening kills go their way. There is a trade that follows through just a couple of seconds later. Woogie trading down his fallen comrade and removing the madman in Psycho himself from the field. Now Woogie's looking to press his way, and he knows that someone is lurking inside. Muzi finds another. The swing out onto the breach, maybe doing a bit of damage here. A bit of range coming in. A shotgun kill at that distance. Some good damage out of Pino. Looks like it's going to take all 15 rounds to decide how this one plays out, Tim. I'm nervous because it's DAMWON Kia going on to the defense.
Let's have a look. How did DAMWON Kia's defenses go? So it was 3-3. They won Church, they won Gym, and they won CCTV. So they've got the pick of it, really. They've won on the 3 main sites at least once. They've also lost them. It's 50-50. But they can at least be comfortable with the choice of where they're going to go, which looks like it's going to be CCTV and Cash Room. Now, last time around was the win for DAMWON. It was round 8. In fact, they haven't lost on CCTV. They only played it once, Des. It was Gym and Church that they played multiple times. So back in round 8, they even took the opening death. Julio got the kill onto Yass, but DAMWON Kia still able to get it over the line in this site.
Locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
You think they can do it?
Have you got a coin?
I'll have one somewhere.
Because that is what this could come down to. It's been very, very close.
No, I found one. Right, heads or tails, Tim?
I think it's got to be heads for DAMWON Kia, tails for NIP.
Heads for DAMWON Kia. All right. We've got heads.
Going to spoken. Honestly, that's how close this is. You know, jokes aside, that is how close this game has been. It's been back and forward. Nobody's been able to take a real advantage here in this one, and it's not going to be an easy finish for either of them. They haven't seen anybody with more than a 1-round lead all the way since round 2, where NIP came in and got the first 2 rounds. Since then, it has been 1 round either way.
Hello to the gang on A stream. Welcome over to the B stream madness, where yes, your eyes do not deceive you. The world champions NIP are being, I don't want to say terrorized by DAMWON Kia, but definitely being challenged pretty strongly. DAMWON on the defensive side have definitely got the advantage given what the history of this map has told us so far, and they've even got the Clash to do a little bit of bullying. And you lucky chaps over on the A stream are also going to be seeing this game moving over onto your beautiful stage in Mexico very, very shortly. So do stay tuned afterwards, which is where this game will then step across to being. A little bit delirious here in the UK. It's 4 a.m. for me, Tim and Jackie, but we're still going strong because the games have truly kept us energized throughout the day. Keep a close eye on where the entry kill comes in, because that really seems to be the avalanche factor so far throughout this day, Tim.
Rin just bunkering down on blue stairs. Now then, CATsang on the Clash. This is an interesting choice. We haven't seen the defensive shield as of yet. We've seen a bit of Monty play. We've seen a bit of Monty success, but CATsang just trying to double down on that method now and get that garage catwalk locked down with the Clash. That could be a crucial battleground. The East Breach has been opened up quickly by NIP, and this is why they've brought the Clash, Des, because they've struggled with the Monty from Psycho, and you can see exactly what happens. Clash is a direct counter to the Monty. Not only does the electricity damage through the shield, it also acts as a shield break as well, and it forces the shield away from Psycho's feet. It's going to be a big, big problem for NIP unless they can move that Clash. The Monty's going to have to go elsewhere.
Monty is normally the go-to strong arm pick for forcing you way up onto catwalk as well. A player who maybe lay down there with a gun can't do very much about it, but here they can't do anything about him. The rotation's going to come and they're going to push their way up red. Rin maybe thinking about a jump out here, not yet pulling the trigger and saying, let's save, go for it, it's go time. See the Monty at the top of red, forcing out the first of those smoke canisters, backing his way down. But there's Rin, can't quite get both angles. They kill the Monty off. It's a 3 versus 3, Tim. Have they held on? We've got 45 seconds to play. Another one coming through. Pino now looking to try and challenge onto this Clash. Slowly having the life zapped out of him here. Down to about 50 HP, or will be in a second or so. A bit of a pause coming through. The guard break coming out, but the spin went for the 180 and gets knifed in the back. Not quite the one you want to be remembered for there. Unfortunately, CATsang at 1 versus 2. Pino, can he do it? Because the world champions are about to lose out to DAMWON Kia. APAC, a region no one put too much hold in, are about to do it. All it takes is 1 kill onto a low HP Pino. A stand-up, a shotgun blast, an SMG whiff, anything will do the trick. He goes for it, misses the first one, steps in a bit closer. 10 seconds on the clock. Got to make something happen here. Pushes it aggressively. The single shot comes in. Down 1 in this 2-game series coming up against NIP. Take the first win against the world champions.
Once again, APAC, they surprise, and they continue to surprise, and I think the whole world are enjoying this right now at the Mexico Major. There is absolutely no certainties when it comes to these results, and DAMWON Kia come out with a massive win. That pushes them up into 2nd place in the table, and it leaves NIP down at the bottom. Who would have thought it, Des?
None of us. On this stream, all 3 of us predicted that we'd see NIP coming away pretty clear-cut winners. Pretty chaotic game, but NIP have had that flavour of APAC, a taste of chaos. And the thing is, Tim, again, they've got to go and play the same matchup again now due to the rearrangement from yesterday. That's definitely a spicy outcome. Can't wait to see if DAMWON can do the double over NIP.
Well, look at the NIP side now. You know, this is fascinating, as you say, because they look dejected. You can see that they did not expect to be losing that game. They've been pushed to the limit by DAMWON Kia and ultimately lost out. And like you say, they've got a short turnaround time and they've now got to come back into it. That's going to be huge for the mental game of DAMWON Kia.
You look at, honestly, I think, I don't want to say so much ego, but a lot of international confidence that teams had coming up against APAC opponents, I think has been shattered. I love the upsets that we're seeing coming in. Cyclops